What's goody? Hey, man. So we got a lot to talk about since the trade deadline is ended, dog. So let's just go ahead. Let's jump right into it, man. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that I didn't expect to be talking about this trade deadline because I just didn't really see this happening. The Brooklyn Nets have waived Cam Thomas, allowing him to enter free agency. And to my knowledge, he still hasn't been picked up. I don't believe Cam Thomas is on an NBA roster right now. And this is just, I'm going to look it up to make sure, but this is kind of shocking to me. Not necessarily that the Nets wouldn't really want him. I mean, they weren't playing him. Um, they weren't playing him. They're a losing team. They're a team that's trying to lose. So for them to just waive him, it's not necessarily the most surprising thing to me. But just the fact that nobody's even willing to give this man a shot as a sixth man. I understand that small, inefficient scoring guard that doesn't score at a high enough clip to be your main guy isn't really a good prototype in the NBA anymore. And I feel that, and I completely understand that. It's never been a type of player that I've loved necessarily either way. But the fact that nobody seems to be interested in him as a sixth man even is kind of crazy to me, and I just feel like assuming that it would be on like a minimum deal, or I just don't really understand how that's not something that any team, any contender is willing to do. I mean, I know that if you're a second apron team, you can't even do stuff like that. So I know that puts like five teams out of the mix immediately, but I'm very interested to see if by the end of the regular season Cam Thomas does get picked up or not, or if by the beginning of next season he gets picked up or not. Because I would say by at least the beginning of next season he's got to get picked up, right? I feel like he's young. He's not a bad basketball player. He might not be your favorite archetype, but he's a guy that could have value for a solid team as a sixth man, or could even have value for a contending team as a sixth man in a limited role. Especially if his money is going to be on a minimum deal or on something that's cheap, not like a $30 million deal like he was expecting or like he was wanting in last offseason. So I just don't really. I'm very interested to see what happens with that situation, because while I understand the Cam Thomas criticism, and I am a Cam Thomas critic myself, I don't think he's that bad. Like, out of the league bad? Like, him and Killian Hayes playing in the same league bad? Nah, I don't think he's that. Another piece, and now this is a bigger piece of information, not necessarily for this season. Actually, for this season and for the future, the Los Angeles Clippers are trading Ivica Zubac, forgive me if I butchered your name, Zubac, to the Indiana Pacers. And let me go look at the package. Because the Clippers are Yes, the Pacers are sending Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 first-round picks, and 1 second-round pick to the Clippers for Zubac and Kobe Brown. The Clippers are receiving a 2026 first-round pick from the Pacers, so that's this year's pick, protected 1 through 4 and 10 through 30, plus a 2029 Pacers unprotected first-rounder. So basically, the Pacers right now, if I go look at the NBA standings, I believe they're either the worst or the second worst team record-wise in the NBA. So if their pick NBA draft. I'm gonna run a simulator right now, and I want to see what would happen if we put their pick, because this is insane to me. So right now they sit as literally the 15th seed in the Eastern Conference. They are tied with the Nets. They are a game ahead of the Nets as the last team in the conference. They have one more win than the Kings. So they are the second worst team in terms of record in the NBA, and that pick is protected 1 through 4 and then 10 through 30. So all they have to do is just not fall in the lotteries the way teams like the Wizards did and the Pistons did in the last couple of years, and they are good. They're good. That's all that has to happen to them. As long as their pick stays in the realm that it is projected to be at right now, they are good. So let me go ahead. Let's go to the simulator. Let's see. Let's go to Tankathon. Let's see. I want to run this one time. Bro, do y'all hear that wind? It's so windy outside. Sim lottery, let's see. Indiana won the lottery. Could you imagine that? Indiana has Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Ivica Zubac. They still have Nembhard. They still have Nesmith. They still have a good basketball team. Granted, the depth is hurt with missing guys like Benedict Mathurin. So the depth does hurt. Isaiah Jackson hasn't been that much for them anyway. But missing guys like Benedict Mathurin, the depth does hurt. But like, for you to do this, and while you're giving up 2 first-round picks, odds are you're going to keep this pick from this year. It's a little scary because the chances of you falling underneath 4 or behind 4 necessarily aren't that low. And we've seen it happen in past years. But if I'm a Pacers fan, I absolutely love this. The prospect of us getting a top 4 pick this year on top of already having a team that was just in the NBA Finals, and we now added a center who's going to be phenomenal in the pick and roll with Tyrese Halliburton, who's going to be a good defender and who's not going to be a guy that demands the ball too much. He's not going to be a guy that really interrupts anything we do offensively, at least not in terms of him demanding the ball or him being a diva on that side of the ball, at least not that we would expect. If you're a Pacers fan, I absolutely love this. Now, for the Los Angeles Clippers, man. If OKC gets their pick, and I get it, OKC's been losing games. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is hurt right now. Jalen Williams has been hurt. They're losing. They've lost a couple of games. I think out of their last 7 games, they've lost 4. Everything like that. I feel you. But this is still the Oklahoma City Thunder, man. If they are able to get that Los Angeles Clippers pick, and it's that high of a pick, what is it? I think it's a top 4 protected pick. What is it? Or is it? If it's top 4, it goes to OKC. Is that what it was? Or is it top? If it's top 10, top 7, it's something like that. If it's top something, it goes to OKC. We need to make sure that doesn't happen. OKC might just have that pick in general, low key. I don't want that pick to be a top 5 pick. My goodness, it's just insane. The Los Angeles Lakers traded Gabe Vincent and a 2032 second-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks for Luke Kennard. I like this for the Lakers. I mean, you just get a shooter. Luke Kennard doesn't shoot at the volume you'd want him to, but he's an efficient shooter. You get off of the Gabe Vincent thing, and teams have been hating. Your Lakers fans have been hating Gabe Vincent, so for them to just be able to get off of that, that's a good thing. In other news, the Miami Heat, for like another deadline, were in every single rumor and did not make another trade. And I just keep seeing Heat fans get more and more upset at Pat Riley. I've seen people starting to call him a terrorist and everything like that. And yeah, it is baffling to me how you're in rumors for Ja Morant, you're in rumors for Dame, you're in rumors for Giannis, you're in rumors for guys year after year after year, and you never do anything. Nothing ever materializes out of it at all. And then you go and you just say, well, not only are we not going to get any of these guys we were rumored to get, we're not even going to make any moves around the edges. Just a little bit insane to me, and especially because the reports were saying that that a lot of the reason that trades were falling through for guys like Ja Morant was because they weren't willing to give up like Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic. Yeah, if that's true, yeah. The Chicago Bulls traded Ayo Dosunmu to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, I don't know who that is, and 4 second-round picks for Dosunmu and Julian Phillips. I didn't see that Julian Phillips was part of this deal. I don't know what's going on in Chicago. I've already talked about Chicago having 100 guards, and they do this deal, and I like this for Ayo Dosunmu, and I like this for the Timberwolves, and I'll talk about that in a second. But for the Bulls, I'm just so confused because Anthony Simons in his Bulls debut, I think it was last night, he hooped, he had a good game, everything like that, so I like that. But they have so many guards, so many mouths to feed over there. You buy in on Jaden Ivey, you buy in on Rob Dillingham, and I get it, you're buying low, but you're still buying in on all these young guards, and it's like the trade deadline is passed. Now, what are you going to do? Try to get all of them to play up their value while they have no center to set screens for them? They have no center to throw lobs to? They have no center to get rebounds for them and give them extra possessions? I just feel like that's unrealistic. Again, for Minnesota, I like this. You aren't really giving up anything you really care about too much. Rob Dillingham as a prospect hasn't been anything for you. He hasn't even really played for you. And as a guy that was like talking about Rob Dillingham winning Rookie of the Year and everything like that, that makes me feel foolish. That's one of the worst takes I've ever had. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal by the Minnesota Timberwolves, not even having to give a first-round pick for a guy that is a great role player, one of those guys that every contending team would love to have a role player like Ayo Dosunmu, just a good to very good defender, plays hard, does the right things. Ayo Dosunmu is a very good get for this already good Minnesota team that's already done good things in the past. Just going through my tweets, make sure I got everything. And then the last thing we need to talk about when it comes to the trade deadline, the New Orleans Pelicans sending Jose Alvarado to the New York Knicks. I didn't see what the package was for this one, but this one is just, hey, getting another guard perimeter defender for the New York Knicks is not going to be a bad thing. Jalen Brunson just had like the worst game of his career last night. I don't know why I brought that up, but I did. Anyways, sounds like hating, but it's not, low-key. Anyways, let me know what y'all thought about the trade deadline. There were a couple teams where I liked their deadline. I like what Minnesota did in spite of not being able to get Giannis. I'm seeing a lot of people are really low on this on the Grizzlies side of the Jaren Jackson trade. I'm seeing that people aren't really liking it, and I feel that because ever since the information came out about what the picks are, I agree that the haul isn't as good for Jaren Jackson as you might want it to be, especially because you didn't get any players that you look at as like a blue chip type of prospect. However, I like Walter Clayton Jr. 3 first-round picks, 3 first-round picks. You have 13 first-round picks over the next few years. I trust the Memphis scouting department, the Memphis drafting team, because the Memphis drafting team, because they have done so well over the last couple of years with guys like a Cedric Howard, with guys like a Jalen Wells, with guys like a Zach Edey. They have done so well drafting. Even when we go back to Vince Williams Jr. and Gigi Jackson and the moments they had with this team, Santi Aldamas and such, John Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., all these guys they drafted. I have faith in them to that extent. And also, I'm not low on this for the Utah Jazz, but a reason that I don't necessarily like this for Utah more than I like this for Memphis is because I think that's a move you do, like I said, when you're ready to go from good to contending, or when you're ready to go from contending to over the hump. That's what I look at a move like Jaren Jackson Jr. did. Like when the New York Knicks went to get Mikal Bridges, they looked at that as, all right, we're ready to contend. What the Cleveland Cavaliers just did, even though it wasn't to the level of first-round picks, what the Cleveland Cavaliers just did to James Harden was like them saying, okay, we understand our window is now. That's what we're doing. The Jaren Jackson Jr. thing, I don't hate it because he's a young player. He fits their team well. I do like their roster with him there as long as they're fully healthy. I do like the way that team is constructed. I do like Will Hardy as a coach. I do like their front office and the things they have going on. So I do believe that Utah could build a competent team around him. But I would just have to see it. I mean, their players are young enough to where their timeline is still, you know what I'm saying, a pretty long one. They still got a pretty bright future ahead of them. They don't have to be like, okay, we're contending right this instant or even in the next season. And I like what they're doing right now more than what a team like the Washington Wizards is doing. And I think they're both kind of doing similar things. And I like the way Utah's doing it more than the way Washington's doing it. But, yeah, I've been saying people really low on this for the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm just not there. I just don't see that side of it. And I'm also not really high on it for the Jazz. Like, I like it for the Jazz, but I don't love it for the Jazz. And then it's like I like it for the Grizzlies, but I don't love it for the Grizzlies. I think I originally gave this like an A+ for Memphis. That would go down for me. I think it would be like A- Memphis, B+ Utah. I think that's probably what I would do if I was grading that trade again. But again, it's not like I hate that trade for Memphis. I still think it's better for Memphis. Anyways, especially depending on what they get for John Morant, who people are saying his value is literally like negative value. It's that bad? It's that we're that for John Morant? Like, I get the Trae Young trade kind of set the market a little bit, and people are looking at Trae Young as less valuable, or I mean, it's more valuable than John Morant right now, but damn. Negative value for a guy that we were looking at as a potential face of the league and MVP candidate 2 years ago? Man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching as always. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, man. Trying to grow the channel, trying to do all these things. So let me know what type of content y'all want to see. But please do not forget to keep God first as always, man. All right, get in your Bible and everything like that. Build your relationship with Jesus Christ. All right, peace out. I love y'all.